Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to Office Hours. Welcome, Max. Good to see you, sir. Right up the road in Irvine. Welcome. Sorry, everybody, for the delay in getting started here, but we are ready to rumble. I hope you've had a great week. Happy Friday. Hope you've got some fun stuff planned for the weekend as well. And welcome to Office Hours. If this is your first time on Office Hours is pure Q&A. I have no agenda for you other than to try and do my best to help you out. So any questions that you have, you can post in the comments and I will go through them. Also, I will go to our member community, our online community for our customers and check on any questions that are there and see if I can answer some of those as well. And I will also post a link here momentarily where if you have a question or a conversation you want to have that's longer, more involved, you've got something that is more complicated, needs more context, you need to share your screen, whatever it is, you can use that link and you will come on camera with me and we can have a bit more of a in-depth engagement there. Okay, so that's the StreamYard link I just posted right there. That will not put you on camera right away. So just so you know, so you're safe. You can hit that. You're going to show up backstage here, and then I will check and make sure you're ready to get on camera before we put you on there. Violet, good to see you. Welcome. Oh, also up in OC. Very cool. Hi from Dubai, Alan. That's awesome. Good to see you. Josh, Dr. Dunn, what's up? Welcome. Robert, good question, Robert. I will share my thoughts on that with you. And Marn, hello. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. First question here. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Goes to Robert. Says, what's the list of courses we should go through for new members? There's quite a few courses to choose from. Yes, that is absolutely the case. I've been in this business for quite a long time, and I've produced a lot of training over the years. And so, Robert, I'm going to answer this in two ways. One, if you are a high-level customer, and two, if you are not a high-level customer. Okay, if you are a high-level customer, then what I would recommend is that you go through my high-level fast start course that I have for you, which you'll get access to right away if you don't already have. Okay, cool. Robert says he's a high-level customer. Awesome. Good decision, Robert. So it's a high-level fast start. And then there's an agency sales funnel blueprint. Okay, those are two quick resources. But the most important thing here that you're accomplishing in those two courses, one, is you just need to get everything set up and ready to roll with HighLevel if you haven't done that yet. And so when I say set up and ready to roll, I'm just talking basic account setup, making sure that you can send email from it, you can send an SMS from it, that it is operating fully functional for your business. You don't need to become a guru in it. You don't need to know how to set up all of your customers on it yet. Just get the initial account set up and working. And then what Agency Sales Funnel Blueprint in particular is going to do for you is going to help you set up your sales process using HighLevel so that you actually have a website, landing pages, forms that prospects can fill out to get in touch with you, a process for selling to them that you can keep track of in your opportunity pipeline, so that way you've got a solid foundation so that when you start doing some prospecting and selling, you're sending people to a good functioning sales process. Okay. So that's Agency Sales Funnel Blueprint. That, depending on your comfort level with technology and your desire to just kind of jump in and get it done, you can get all of that done within just a handful of days. Some people it takes weeks. That's up to you. And again, how much time and effort you're going to put into it and what your comfort level is with this stuff. And then from there, I would just recommend that you jump into the high leverage agency. And the only reason that you need to leave the high leverage agency at that point going forward is if you have something that you say, hey, Mike, I would like some more depth on this particular topic. And then you could go through any number of my courses, depending on what specifically you need. But those courses, the rest of those courses, I would encourage you to look at those as backup. High Leverage Agency has been designed with what I believe are the most critical aspects of all of my training and all of my resources for you to be able to use them to execute with HighLevel, and build the kind of model that I recommend, a productized service model, recurring revenue. That would be, ideal. You just go through High Leverage Agency and just stick to it. Okay. Again, you may say, I want some more in-depth training on how to run Facebook ads. I've got training on how to run Facebook ads inside of High Leverage Agency. I've got training that's got a little bit more depth to it outside in a separate course, because that course was a standalone course on how to do Facebook advertising. So again, I would just look at the rest of those courses as backup. You're welcome to ping me anytime on these calls or in our community and say, hey, Mike, I'm looking for more on this topic. What do you recommend I dive into? And I'll be happy to try and guide you in the right direction, so you don't have to. I don't want anybody to become a full-time student, right? We're entrepreneurs. We're not full-time students. I think it's very important that we all remain at least part-time students. That's I think an important aspect of being an entrepreneur, is that we should always be learning. But we don't want you to be a full-time entrepreneur. I mean, a full-time student. We want you to be a full-time entrepreneur. Okay. So I hope that helps you, Robert. Looks like we've got some clarity there. Cool. Bryce says, High Leverage Agency outlines a good way to come up with your service offering. Yes. Absolutely. That is definitely an important part of it. And the R6 framework that I share in there in particular, I think would help just about anybody come up with some service plans that you should be able to just take and run with pretty quickly. Okay. That's definitely not something that you want to overthink too much. I think that there are proven approaches to this stuff that you don't have to, reinvent the wheel. And also, especially if you're just getting started, you're going to end up changing it 15 times anyway in the first year, right? You're going to go out there, get actual experience with prospects, get actual experience with customers, realize that there are certain things about your offer that you want to tweak. And that's just part of the game. All right. I'm going to jump over to our community here, our customer community, and see what questions we have in there. And I have to apologize. I have been pretty absent from the community here over this last week. I got the stomach flu last Friday night. And man, I was absolutely knocked flat for a good 3.5 days or so, to the point where I've never experienced this before, to the point where my brain was so tired and dehydrated that I would try and read emails. I figured, okay, if I'm sick and I'm just laying around, I can at least respond to emails and stuff like that. And I would read an email, and halfway through it, I would just fall asleep because my brain would just shut off. It was amazing. So I'm catching up on stuff. Alan says, hi, Mike, I referred someone to HighLevel using my affiliate link for the first time. Awesome. He's had some discussions with them and is signing up for 3 months with the option of moving to the annual plan. Great. At that point, as he's going to set up his own agency, he won't be a sub account for me. Therefore, how should I support him? Yes, that's correct. He won't be a sub account for you. So the way that you would support him, Alan, is similar to the way that I support, you and others in my community. You could do calls like this. You could do one-on-one calls with him, one-on-one kind of Zoom calls type of thing like that. Just depends on how much, one, support you want to give, and two, how much he needs. But yes, his account will not be directly linked to your account in any way. And so, he should be, you will have to be supporting him outside of his actual account. It'll be, again, doing calls and things like that. And of course, if there's some training that you want to provide to him, something that you say, hey, this is something that I've learned and would be helpful for you, and you could, record some videos, essentially create your own little course for him, that would be fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely going around. Thank you, Violet. Yeah, it's amazing how much it is going around here in the San Diego community for sure. I know so many people have had it, so I'm not alone. Raul from Australia says, I'm in Australia and about to start my new business. I've looked at many of the other offers out there, but the fairy dust keeps making me sneeze. I like your down to earth approach, Mike. That's awesome. I love it. Let me see. Okay, can someone, Meredith asks, and Meredith might be on the call here. Can someone ask me or direct me to where Mike talks about how to do the marketing audit? Okay, cool. So a marketing audit is a tool that I have used, and I should say actually an audit is a tool, not just a marketing audit, but other forms of audits is a tool that I've used throughout my career with a lot of success. So we started when I was in the IT services industry, when we were managing technology for small businesses. What we found is that, in order to manage the technology for a small business, you needed to know what technology they had, right? How many Windows licenses do you have? Things like that, just boring stuff, but you needed to know. And most small businesses had no clue what they had. They had just cobbled things together over the years. They had no documentation. They were probably illegally licensed for most of their stuff. Most small businesses were, doing illegal copies of software. And so we realized that during our sales process, just to propose to them, hey, here's how much it's going to cost to provide services to you, we would have to do all this free homework. We'd have to go in and essentially audit their network to figure out what the heck they had, so we knew what we were getting into. Well, that obviously took time. Time is money. And so what we started doing was saying, hey, look, if you don't have all of the documentation that you need, we'll do an audit for you. But an audit is $1,500, $2,500, depending on the size of the business. But we'll do this audit for you and we'll give you the results of that audit. So now you will know what you have, which you really need for accounting purposes and legal purposes and all that stuff anyway. And you'll have a nice documentation of what you have. And that way we can also give you an accurate proposal. And then if you end up hiring us for the management services, we will just absorb the cost of that audit. So if the audit was $2,500, if you decide not to hire us for ongoing services, you pay the $2,500. If you hire us for ongoing services, we roll that right in there. Okay. So that's a nice low risk value proposition for the business, and it's helpful, and it prevents you from having the sales process where you end up doing lots of free work. Okay, that's one of the biggest risks of any sort of service business, like professional service business, like an agency or any other type of professional service business, is that during the sales process, you end up giving away your time and your knowledge for free trying to sell them. And so many professional services are guilty of that, and they don't realize how much profitability that just leaks out of their business. So the marketing audit was born of the same necessity, essentially. You talk to a small business and you say, what are you doing? What are you using currently? What are you doing with your marketing currently? Are you doing these X things? And they have no idea, or it's not anything that you as an agency from an outside perspective could see. Are you following up with your prospects consistently? That's not something that you can just tell. Like, they need to inform you. Yes, here's what we're doing. We have follow email campaigns. We do follow phone call campaigns. We touch all of our prospects within the first 5 minutes of them filling out this form, whatever it is. So you're not going to know that during your sales process unless you do some sort of investigative work. And that's what this marketing audit is. The marketing audit is also fantastic because it opens up the eyes of the prospect as to all of the things that they're not doing that they should be doing, right? It's essentially like a health checkup. If you go to the health checkup and your fitness trainer, walking 10,000 steps a day, are you eating at least, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight? Are you, doing all these things? Are you getting, X amount of sunlight every day? All of a sudden you go, ooh, wow, I thought I was doing pretty good with my health and fitness. Turns out 70% of this list I'm not doing, right? Similar type of thing. It's like, are you, ensuring that every inbound phone call is getting picked up? Are you following up with leads? Are you, capturing reviews, whatever it is? So the marketing audit gets answers to those questions. So how you use it is during the sales process, you can use it, right? And there's flexibility as to how you use it, okay? So if I was selling somebody though on like our full marketing systems approach, like we're going to come in with HighLevel, we're going to set up all of these systems for your business, from website to follow-up campaigns to everything in between, right? If I was pitching somebody on that approach, then I would want to understand, hey, what are you currently using? What are you currently doing? Where are you having success? That type of thing. And so during the sales process, typically I would do this in my second call. My first call is just like a quick qualifying call, just making sure we're on the same page. You guys want what we want. You want to invest the money. You want to do it soon, all that. Second call then is where we're getting into the meat of, hey, here's our approach. Here's what we're going to do for you. And then I would go through that audit either on the call with them, right? Especially if you're doing kind of like an abbreviated version of it. Or I would have sent them that audit before that call and asked them to fill it out. And then usually on that call, your success rate on getting somebody to have actually filled that out proactively, I don't know, maybe 50%. So again, while you're on the call with them, you say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the audit. Looks like you answered some of the questions, not all the questions. You probably didn't understand all of them. No sweat. Let's go ahead and go through this now. And you're asking them these questions so that you're getting a good lay of the land of what they're doing, what they're not doing. And then again, you're exposing them to, oh, wow, we're not doing 3/4 of this stuff. You're telling me that once we have your marketing systems in place, we'll be doing all of this? Yes. Right. So you want to make sure that that audit is designed to support your service pitch and your service delivery, right? I want to strategically ask questions that are going to set up the value of my services. And then you want to use that in that call to, help justify, hey, here's why we're doing all of this, why you need this marketing system. So that's typically how I use it. And again, you should take the approach of the audit. My audit is not something that's set in stone. There's no particular magic to the questions. You should take those questions and say, okay, which ones of these are most relevant to me? Maybe I want to change some of these. Maybe I want to totally ditch some of these, add some new ones. That's totally fine. I would recommend that you keep it, I think across all of the R's of our business, of the, R6 approach, I think, which is really, so it's 5 R's that you would be asking about. Maybe there's 50 questions total, and that would be plenty. And in most cases, I would probably do an abbreviated version of that, especially if you're talking to like a lower price point customer, somebody that's going to be paying you $297 a month, and you're doing just like a really efficient setup of some services. You're not really doing any sort of ongoing or any sort of additional consulting or management or anything like that for them. It's just like a lean and mean customer. Then my audit would be no more than 20 questions. It would be fast. It would be lean and mean. So, you can imagine, like, let's say that you were doing a free website offer. There's all kinds of things that it would be good to know about their current website situation, right? Early in the relationship, where are you hosted? Where are your domains? Do you have the login and passwords to those things? Who's currently managing any of that for you? Do you have your logo files? Do you know the color schemes for your brand? Like, there's a number of things that if you collected that information up front, or you knew that information up front, then your service delivery is going to be dramatically easier. So again, just use it as a tool to help you sell and help you organize the delivery of your services so that you're nice and professional going into it. Okay. So I hope that helps. Let's see. It looks like we've got some other questions there. Actually, Eric, I think I see your question. You want to just jump on and you can ask me here because I see you backstage. Give me a wave of your hand because I can't hear you. Okay, cool. How's it going?
Hey, man. Great. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. How can I help you?
Awesome. So question, I don't know if you know, but okay, so I work full-time for a company. We invested in HighLevel through you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So that was a great decision. Lots of great resources.
Thank you.
Been following you for a while. So
Awesome.
question on, I don't know if you know this, but we have one main address for our company, and we have a Google business profile for that company, but we have multiple entities and they all have the same address. So the reason why we wanted to invest in HighLevel is mainly because of the multiple entities and being able to just plug them all into their own sub accounts. Essentially, it was like a perfect fit for what we're trying to do. So do you, and I'm guessing, I think I already know the answer, but do you need a separate address for each entity to be able to have a Google business profile? Yeah, right.
I think so. I mean, even if it's, so you have different phone numbers for each of them, right?
Yeah. There's going to be about 7. We've got 2 now. We've got EINs for 2 of the LLCs, and then we're working on the rest right now.
So I think if all of the other information is different, the address could be the same. You could put like a suite number to it or something like that, because obviously there's lots of businesses that have the same building address with just different suites.
Right.
So I think that you could do something like that. But I think that, you would have to make sure that all the other information is distinctly unique, so that Google would recognize it as separate businesses. And you're probably still going to have to jump through some BS hoops with them to get them all
verified. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my guess. I mean, getting verified can be a nightmare.
Been there. Yes.
Yeah. I don't envy what you're going through. It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, it seems like it shouldn't be. It seems like there's a higher level of security on getting your business verified with Google than there is, like, I don't know, getting through the security screenings at the airport or whatever. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
It can take a miracle sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's it. I appreciate it.
Right, now, well, good luck.
Thank you, brother. Bye.
All right. I appreciate you. Take care. Let's see here. Joseph says, paid BD is sweet. Lay out the roadmap. Consulting always has recommendations at the end that will follow on services. Exactly. Show them the gap to best practice. That's exactly right. That's a great word for it, Joseph. The gap, which many of you have probably heard that phrase, whether it was referring to the gap between, kind of where you are and where you want to be in your personal life, because a lot of, coaches use that language. But certainly in business, what you are selling to is the gap, right? Here's your goals, Mr. Business Owner, Mrs. Business Owner. Here's where you are today. Why this gap and how do we close it? And your solution is the answer to how we close that gap, or else you're not going to make a sale, right? So yes, by doing that audit, a lot of times us as individuals in our personal lives, we're not even clear why the gap and what the gap is, right? We know that we want something better for ourselves, but we're not exactly sure what it is. We can't clearly define it. We can't clearly define what it is that's causing that gap. And that's why having a coach or somebody like that can be really helpful, because you get a third-party perspective, somebody that can see, hey, here's where you are. I can see it. Here's where other best performers are that you say that you want to be, and here's what they're doing different, here's what they have that's different. And when you're selling, it's the exact same thing. You are ideally acting as a coach to an extent. You're acting as this trusted advisor, and you're saying, hey, look, you're not hitting your growth goals, small business owner. And you're saying you're here and you want to be here. What's causing that gap? Let me share with you in our experience what's causing that gap. What's causing that gap is you don't have a consistent lead generation process. You don't have a consistent follow-up process. You're providing great services and products, but you don't have a consistent review capture process to capitalize on that, right? And so these are these fundamental growth systems that we will put in place for you. And with each one of those systems, we're closing that gap. And so the audit is helping to, again, just make those components that are causing the gap more visualized for that business owner, clear for that business owner, so that they can say, okay, one, you're the person who's smart enough to point that out, right? And that's what the whole R6 framework is that I have in the high leverage agency. It is about having a structure to your conversation so that you can say, these are the components of marketing. This is what marketing is. Here's how it works. Because if you sit down with 50 different business owners today and you say, what is marketing? You're going to get 50 different answers, including a lot of people that won't be able to give you an answer. And if I asked you all, to define marketing as agency owners, I'm going to get 50 different answers. So you've got to make sure, whatever your answer is, you've got to make sure that you can articulate it clearly to your prospect so that they can see you as the guide, as the coach that can help them close that gap. And just by defining what marketing is and what these key marketing systems are, that will put you in an elevated position in their minds. Because again, most small business owners have not heard somebody clearly articulate to them, here's why you're not growing. Here is what marketing is to solve that. And here are the key systems of marketing that will then close that gap. Okay. So that's exactly what the audit is about. That's exactly what the R6 is about, or whatever sales conversation that you want to have with those prospects. A successful sales conversation is going to accomplish those things that I just outlined. Okay. Hey, it's Mark. After 40 years in business, I'm on the 50%, 90-day, 97 plan to explore, learn, go high level. I am struggling with doing go high level versus building and selling automations with Make, GPT, N8N, et cetera, which I'm comfortable with. Mark, I mean, it's awesome that you have that experience and that level of comfort. Yes, that is my answer to you, Mark, is yes, you've hit the nail on the head. I think that you are making it more difficult and more expensive and overthinking it. Now, let me caveat that by saying I just read 2 quick comments from you here in the comments. So I don't have enough context to say that with 100% confidence. So obviously take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, but let me explain why I'm saying that. If you are dealing with small businesses, okay, small businesses do not have the resources or money or understanding to reward you, Mark, for having the creative knowledge and technical understanding that you're able to build systems for them with Make, GPT, N8N, whatever that is. I don't even know what those things are. The point is, you, Mark, have these technical skills and knowledge that are very valuable. If you were to take those skills and that knowledge and use it on behalf of a larger business, where you've got some real strategic people there that can really understand the value of what they're doing. They have the budgets to pay you for that creative knowledge and work. I would say doing those sort of custom solutions is very well worth it. And it could be an exciting opportunity. If you're selling to small businesses, the reality is that you need to deliver the goods as efficiently and cost effectively as possible, even if the goods are not as good as you could do with your custom approach, Mark. So, no question, it sounds like with your knowledge and skills, you could probably put together something that's like this really dialed in, amazing automated system that for each and every customer, you could take your knowledge and sit there and tweak things and make a better approach. Again, the reality for 99% of small businesses is they don't have the strategy, the resources, the money to take advantage of that difference in what you're creating and reward you for it in a way that's going to make sense to build a business model off of. So, in order to serve small businesses effectively with a business model that's actually going to reward you, it's my experience, and I have a very, very hard time finding any cases counter to this, that you really need to just be thinking 80-20. What's the simplest way for me to get them a solution that works, even if it's not perfect, but it is efficient and cost effective, so that I can make money and that they can have a price point that's palatable. And HighLevel is perfect for that. It just is. It's got all kinds of features that I wish were there that aren't there yet, although that list gets shorter every day. And it's got a learning curve to it, just like anything. But I think given your experience and your knowledge, if you just put your head down and commit to learning it, 30 days from now, you'll be awesome. Good, Mark. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Cool. Alan says, have you done anything around a referral program, Mike? I'm chatting with some of my network that can refer prospects to me and need to reward them and track the details when prospects sign up. Yes, I have. I've tried all kinds of things with this, Alan. And I would say that the most important thing that I've learned about it is exactly what you said. You need to reward them, and you need to reward the behavior, not just the end result. Okay. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, Alan, if I said to you, Alan, I've got this agency, I would love for you to refer me customers. I would appreciate you keeping me in mind. And let's say if you refer me a new customer, I'll pay you $1,000. Okay. So let's just say that that's a number. And I know that my cost of doing marketing to acquire a customer is $2,500, and a portion of that is marketing expense. So essentially, I know my numbers, and I know, hey, I would spend $1,000 on marketing, or I'll spend $1,000 on Alan referring me. So I'll just go ahead and give Alan $1,000. Okay. Now, Alan says, oh, that's awesome. I like you, Mike. I'm going to refer you business. And he goes and he refers some prospects. Okay. He meets somebody this month. He meets somebody next month. He's like, man, these are all great prospects for Mike. He introduces us. He does everything he's supposed to do. And those deals don't close. And that's just reality sometimes. Deals don't close, right? Not everybody is actually a great fit, or, whatever. So Alan refers these and they don't close. And after 3 months of sending me a handful of people, he's like, man, I didn't get squat. I've been sending you people. I feel like maybe you suck at this, Mike. You're not very good at selling your services. All I know is I'm probably pretty burnt out on sending you people. This wasn't very fun, right? So instead, Alan, what you want to make sure that you do is that you reward the behavior. So let's just say you've determined I can spend $1,000 on each signed deal referral. Okay. So what I would do, what I've learned to do is, Alan, as soon as you refer me anybody, and I may not even make this an explicit part of the deal. So let's just say, Alan, I met you. I said, yes, if you refer me a customer, signed customer, I'll pay you $1,000. And Alan goes, sweet, good deal. Now, Alan refers me to the first one. I would immediately say, hey, Alan, thank you so much for thinking of me. I really appreciate it. Here's $250. Right? Here's a $250 gift card to your favorite restaurant. I know you love eating at whatchamacallit restaurant. Have a great dinner with your lady on me. Okay? I really appreciate you thinking of me. Now, what I did was I just rewarded the behavior, even if that deal doesn't close. So I've got some skin in the game, but damn it, I should have some skin in the game, right? Alan just went out of his way to refer me somebody, put his reputation a little bit on the line. I should have some skin in the game. So now I'm putting up that $250, even if that deal signs or not. And that changes the relationship. If I know every single time I refer somebody to Mike, he's going to hook me up with, a couple $100 in cash, a gift card to my favorite restaurant. He bought me this amazing bottle of wine. Now I'm rewarded for thinking about you. And that's the way it should be. So I would just consider you to think about it like that, Alan. And it really does not need to be any more complicated than that. The other thing that I just think is critical to all of this is that you show whoever referred you that deal the respect of keeping them in the loop on what's happening and how things are going, right? And a part of that could be that you give them like their own kind of affiliate link. And that's what I was just going to say. Alan, you could just use the HighLevel affiliate system. So you could just create a little referral link for them and have them in the system as an affiliate. Now, sometimes things are going to get tracked through affiliate links. Alan, if you were trying to refer me business, you could say to your friend, oh yeah, look, I know this great agency. If you'd like an introduction, I'll make an introduction. Why don't you go ahead and just check out their site real quick and see if you think it makes sense. And you send them that link, they click on it. Now, they've been pixeled to you. So I know it was Alan that referred them. Again, that's not always going to happen that way in the real world. That's kind of a digital marketing system. Sometimes people don't follow the digital marketing links, the way that they're supposed to. So you may then just manually assign that person, put them into your CRM, put them into HighLevel, and then manually assign that person to Alan as the affiliate. But that way you have some tracking. And if the deal closes, you can track it all the way back and see, yep, that was Alan that referred us. And also, again, to have the courtesy to reach back out to Alan and say, hey, Alan, thank you so much for referring Bob to me. I just want to let you know we had our first call and it went pretty darn well. I think we're really a good fit to help him out. He's not sure if he's got the budget for it right now, but we're going to do a second call and we should know, pretty quickly here if that's the case or not. And I'll keep you in the loop if we end up closing the deal, right? Because the last thing that they want to have is just like this just disappearing on them, one, and two, really the last thing that they want to have happen is to find out that you sold them, you closed that deal, and then you didn't let them know and didn't reward them. Now they're going to feel like, oh, wait a minute, you bamboozled me, right? I had to like circle back to get you to tell me that you closed that deal, right? Where's my money? So yeah, following up with communication is key. Absolutely. So I hope that helps. Anything that I've tried to do more exotic than that on referral problems, because you see referral programs, because you see people come up with these super strategic referral programs and all these levels of rewards and all this type of stuff. Nothing has ever worked. All that stuff is always, it's just never been actually effective. Okay. What would I use to make custom graphics for Go HighLevel websites? I would use, Canva, AI. I would hire somebody on Fiverr. I would hire somebody on any of the other sites. I mean, honestly, I would never personally be doing custom graphics for websites personally. So, but if I were, I would just, like I said, use one of those. I would spend 2 seconds of my own time on any of those tools and see if I got the result I was looking for quickly. And if not, I would just hire somebody really quickly to get it done. Clayton says, how do you handle conversations with potential customers when they ask about features that Go High Level is working on, but aren't yet live? What is your approach to, sorry, I'm just checking my calendar to make sure I didn't screw something up. No, I'm good. What's your approach to keeping them confident in our platform's value? Well, Clayton, I think, so a couple of things here. One, I do not recommend that you're selling on the platform's features very much at all. So, I've been with HighLevel since the very beginning of HighLevel, or whatever, 6 months into their growth. And at that time, I mean, it was such a basic platform, it was ridiculous, right? I mean, lacking all of the features. But what it did was it solved a couple of specific problems better than pretty much anybody else. Well, not pretty much anybody else, better than anybody else that you could find in the market. And so it was still worth it because the cost of the platform was way less than the value of the solution. And so I have been using HighLevel for my own businesses now for years and years because that continues to just be the case. It's like if I'm spending 97, 297, 497, whatever I'm spending on HighLevel each month, the value that I'm getting from it, even just in cost savings alone from the other platforms that I cancel, is huge. So any features that are coming in addition to that are really just gravy for me. So again, if you are selling on more of the problems that are being solved for the customer instead of the specific features, then that's going to create kind of some of that cushion for you. Because if you're comparing the feature richness of HighLevel versus HubSpot as an example, HubSpot's been around forever and has a massive team of developers and has all these crazy features that 99% of people probably don't actually take advantage of. But if most small businesses are sitting down with HubSpot, there's a lot of problems that they're not getting solved that you could help them solve with your services using HighLevel and using your creativity in terms of the way that you're designing workflows and campaigns and things like that. So I would focus on what are the problems that I'm solving so that the emphasis is not on the features. Now, if you come across somebody that's just like, hey, I just really need this feature to make this work for my business, and you don't have that feature, I would personally just bow out of that until we have that feature. I know that may not be the answer that you want to hear because nobody likes to lose revenue, but I also hate to have a customer that really is not satisfied and is just like, I'm not going to be satisfied until that feature is there, because you have so little control over that, right? I mean, HighLevel has a crazy development pace, but it's their development schedule. It's not yours. So you just don't have a lot of control over that. So I would personally just let them go if I needed to, or not sign them in the first place. And if they are, if they're already a customer, though, they're getting real good value from their services, and they're just like, I would really like feature X. Could you get that incorporated into this for us? I would just say, here's our roadmap of development. Here's where it sits in terms of priorities and expected estimated timing, and just try and keep them in the loop on communication, which, you can see at least roughly the HighLevel development map. They keep that pretty public, but it's also, they move so fast. Things are changing so quickly, right? So I know that's a mouthful, Clayton, but I hope it helps. Oh, so okay, and this is a little bit different question. So, or a little bit different angle that I do want to touch on. one of the things that you should be selling about your services is that they are constantly improving, because you have this incredible development infrastructure behind you with HighLevel that is adding all these new capabilities all the time. So you definitely want to communicate to them, part of the value of our services is you're paying us $497 a month, but the service is constantly improving. The benefits that you're getting from that are constantly growing. And so what I recommend that you do, similar to, how Sean is always releasing his quick loom videos saying, hey, we've got these new capabilities. I don't think you need to do like that with your customers. There's no reason to overwhelm them or focus too much on features. But I do recommend, maybe it's a monthly, maybe it's just a quarterly thing, Clayton, that you're saying, hey, here are the new developments that we've incorporated into our system over the last month or over the last 3 months that you may not be aware of. Some of them are happening behind the scenes on your behalf or whatever it is, but just wanted to make sure that we call attention to them so that you can see that we are constantly, working to make progress to improve the system. You've got to sell the work that's happening, because otherwise a lot of customers are just never even going to see it or notice it. So I do recommend that that's a part of your regular communication rhythm to your customers, is to say, hey, here are the exciting things that have rolled out. I mean, one, that's going to keep the customers like, wow, look at all this progress. But two, it's going to help you sell more services. You know what I mean? It's going to help. It's going to get people excited and see, oh, geez, here's some new things that you can do for us. So new always sells. Cam at 100, the pro version is free for 30 days and get a limited version. It's always free, but it's probably worth the 18 a month if you use it a lot. Oh yeah, heck yeah. I found a good workaround for the task feature with my pipeline. While they don't show up on the pipeline, they will show up in order on the dashboard. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that, there'll be, from my understanding, HighLevel is going to put a lot of emphasis into some of these capabilities here this year. So hopefully you can have less workarounds. Rollout of Boomerang with their San Diego, slowly. And the reason why I say that, Dustin, in full transparency, I would say 90% done with making some decisions about some of the things that I'm moving forward with their San Diego, some of the things that I'm not going to move forward with. But I have been doing that thinking work and planning and talking to my team here over the last 45 days, kind of over the holidays, and now here in January. And like I said, I think I'm pretty much done with that. And then and then we'll see exactly where Boomerang fits into those plans. So I'll have more on that soon. Thank you, Clayton. I appreciate it. Josh, Dr. Dunn says, knowing what you know now, would you pursue the same niche of MSP IT companies that you did with Kutenda? Any advice on the long lead times for waiting on an MSP to get out of an existing contract? Josh, I doubt it. I doubt that I would pursue that niche. The reason why, part of what you're alluding to there, the existing contracts, there's obviously a lot more competition in that niche now than there was when I launched in that space. One, two, IT professionals are a particular bunch. And maybe you're an IT professional, Josh, so I don't mean to offend you. But perhaps you also know that IT professionals can be a particular bunch. And one of the things, at least at the time, and I suspect there's probably still some truth to it now, is that they were very skeptical of sales and marketing, and very, I shouldn't say very, but it could be a bit condescending. They thought that their technical knowledge made them, kind of superior in the world. And there was a time when, especially in Silicon Valley, man, the way that they were getting paid and treated, there's justification for why they felt that way. But I don't like having to sell somebody. I don't like having to do what I call the double sale. Okay. The double sale is I have to justify why you should even be doing marketing. And then I have to justify why you should be doing marketing with me. Right. I don't like to have to do both of those. I just want to do the one. Here's why you should be doing this with me. I want to work with people who are already sold on I need to invest in marketing at my business. And if I don't, I'm a dum-dum, right? Like I don't know any rational, successful business owner, not a single one, that doesn't invest in marketing. Any other, every single one. And so if I'm talking to a business owner that I'm struggling to get them to understand and the logic of investing in marketing, and I'm having to argue with them on that, I'm just wasting my breath. I don't want anything to do with that conversation. And there was a lot of that in that space. So maybe now that's changed. I know it's a much more competitive environment there. The market has changed dramatically in that industry. And so maybe they've been sold now on, we have to be marketers. I hope so. And if that's the case, then maybe there is, still a real good opportunity there. But yeah, those would be the things that I would feel out. But my gut tells me, Josh, that the answer is no. And the reasons why are what I just stated. But also, I would like to work with businesses that have smaller, faster sales cycles and faster feedback cycles. So in other words, a restaurant can run a coupon today and get a customer today and get a review from that customer today. That's a nice fast cycle, right? An IT firm can run ads for the next 9 months and then get a meeting with a prospect and then not even be sure, was it those ads that had any impact to get that meeting with that prospect or not? And then it could be 90 days before they close the deal, another 60 days before they actually have it up and running as a customer. You know what I mean? So that just makes it more challenging to tie your services back to their success, which is less fun. It's less enjoyable as a business to me. And that's why, Josh, with Kutenda, our services were structured the way they were, which was low price points. We do all of this stuff for you, and we're not promising any results. What we're promising is activities. These marketing activities will get done for you, and you know that they should be getting done for you. You know that you are not getting them done, and you know that you cannot get them done at a better price point than what we're promising right here. That was the whole pitch, because I couldn't promise results because you have this crazy long sales cycle and all that. But I can promise you that a newsletter is going to go out the door every week, and it's going to be a professionally written newsletter. And you should be sending a damn newsletter, and you're not. So let us take care of that for you. So that was the approach, using technology to make that as efficient and cost effective as possible. And that, I believe, is still the same approach I would take in that space if I were going to do it today. And with HighLevel, much, much, much easier to do it. Cool. Long answer. Hope that is helpful. So do you sell work as your developments or GHL developments? Clayton, so two things. You should white label the platform. So you should brand it as your platform, and you should sell it as these are the updates to our platform. But at the same time, I never would lie to somebody about, well, is that actually yours? Or I've heard about this company HighLevel. Is this HighLevel? I would never lie about that. I would never mislead about that in any way. And there's no reason to. It bothers me when people feel like there's a reason to, because two things. One, you should be adding value on top of HighLevel, right? Your complete system, the services that you incorporate, the campaigns that you incorporate, all that stuff, it's unique to you. And so you shouldn't be worried about somebody just hopping from HighLevel, oh, I'm going to go sign up for HighLevel directly and save some money. No, you're not, because I'm not just giving you the software. I'm giving you the marketing system on top of that and the service on top of that, right? So if that's not clear to the customers that you're working with, then that's your fault. That has nothing to do with HighLevel. Two is that you want to stress the fact that you have this massive organization and team and resources and money and huge development crew that are constantly building. You could never do that as Clayton, right? You're never going to be able to do that on your own. So why in the world would any rational customer want to sign up with somebody who is, got their own proprietary software, unless it's somebody that's got massive deep pockets and is really making sure that the software is constantly being improved, right? Nobody's going to be able to keep up with the resources of HighLevel. So you want to say, yes, it's HighLevel. That is the foundation. It's the best foundation you could possibly have in this industry. And then what we're doing is we are building upon that foundation to make sure that you can fully utilize it at your business, and that we can add as much value to your specific business, and your specific needs. Okay. Yes. Activities versus results is one of my favorite lines. I see agencies out there all the time, or gurus of agencies out there all the time promising, or, saying that you should promise results. Oh, I can get you X thousands of dollars in new business, every month. And that's the justification for my hyped up, price points and stuff. In very, very, very few cases do you actually want to be making those promises. It's a much, much better business to be in when you say, hey, Alan, you're running, whatever the business is, right? You're running a CPA firm. Okay, great. Here are the things that successful CPA firms need to get done from a marketing perspective. They need to have professional websites that rank well. They need to have the ability to capture prospects and make sure they're doing effective follow-up. They need to make sure that they're nurturing prospects over time with good, valuable content that shows thought leadership, whatever. How many of those things are you getting done? And at what cost? This is what our marketing system does. It does these things on a consistent basis for you. That newsletter goes out every damn week. That website is optimized according to best practices. Our best practices are constantly being improved. We're creating good content for you every week that you can customize and put your name on it. It's going out to show thought leadership. We are setting up a nurture sales process that automatically makes sure that you're doing the things that you need to do to follow up with those prospects and close deals. And it's all being done at this crazy attractive price point because of our ability to leverage the technology as the foundation of our service delivery. Like, that's activities versus results. Results, hey, Alan, I don't know if you're any good at closing deals. So if you're not any good at closing deals, I mean, reality is the results maybe are not going to be that great for you, but that's because you stink at closing deals. So you know what I'm saying? Activities versus results. Yes. Josh says, no offense taken, I ran IT company's marketing department for 9 years. Got it. So you get it. You get it then. Cool. Let's see. I'm going to jump back over into the community here and see if we see any more. Charles Melinda says, are you promoting the anti-agency narrative to prospects and customers? And they're writing about how are you positioning your services differently? Are customers resonating with the narrative? What's been your biggest challenge? Yeah. So to me, the anti-agency message has always been effective, still effective to this day. It's the exact same messaging approach that I took in my IT services business as well. In my IT services business, I had little pins made that our team would wear that said IT department and had a red slash, through it, right? So we were the anti-IT department. And same thing, you may have seen in my presentations or on some of my videos, I have agency with a red slash through it. That message has always worked. That approach has always worked for me, because if nothing else, it creates a question, right? It creates a reaction where somebody goes, well, what do you mean? Why are you anti-agency? I thought you are an agency. And it gives you the opportunity to then articulate, here's why we're different. Here's what's different about our approach. And so in marketing, we always just want a reaction, right? That's essentially the goal of your marketing, is to get a reaction. And so that's a great way of getting a reaction and giving you the opportunity to like perfectly tease up, here is why you don't want a traditional agency and why you want us. So I think the most important thing, Charles, Linda, and anybody else, is to have a position. Okay, being wishy-washy in your marketing is never the right answer. Far better to have a position, and that position may turn off a lot of people. But the fact that you have a position gives you a foothold in their mind as to who you are and what you're about. It makes your message more memorable. And so, you always you want to take a position and make that position clear in one way or the other. So whether or not you want to use that anti-agency message or something else, certainly up to you. But I think it is very effective and has continued to be very effective. Meredith says, I'm struggling to figure out how to put restrictions on the basic plans in my SaaS configurator. My way of thinking is to add activities to the higher plans, such as ad campaign management, email sequences. I'd love your thoughts. No, so Meredith and anybody else, I recommend, my favorite approach in this business is to essentially give everybody all the goods. And what I mean by that is if you went to all of your prospects and you said, hey, look, you get all of our features and capabilities. There's no holding back anything here. You're going to get everything. The only difference in price point is how big your organization is, your company is, from an employee perspective and from a usage of our system perspective. So if you got more employees on the system and you are using the system more, you're going to pay more. If you're small, you're a little 1-person, 2-person team, you're just getting going, you don't have a lot of usage, you're not doing a lot of volume through our system, you're going to pay less. But you get everything that you need. I'm not going to penalize you, Mr. Very Small Business Owner, just because you're small and you don't have the big budgets. That doesn't mean I'm going to hold back the tools that you need. I'm going to give them to you, and you're going to pay less because you're using them less, because you're a smaller business. And when that changes because you've been successful and you're growing, then awesome. You'll be paying more. We'll benefit, but obviously you're benefiting too because you're growing, and that's why you're using the system more. So it's a win-win, right? So your interests are really aligned with your prospect. And the way that you do that, give them all the features, but then on the plans here, what you can do is you can limit right here the number of users. So in this basic plan right now, it's 1 user, but I can make that 3 users, and I can say my basic plan is up to 3 users. Right? So you just edit that right here. You could edit the number of contacts that they can put in the system. I'm not as big of a fan of this one. I would actually recommend you just turn that one off. That's my preference, just because it feels arbitrary. Like if one business has 300 contacts and another business has 500 contacts, like that doesn't make any difference to me in terms of usage of the system. So what? Like, I don't care. I would rather you have more contacts so that you reach out to more people, send more newsletters, send more SMS messages. Then you're just going to be paying me more anyway. So I wouldn't do that. In fact, save changes. The features, you're just giving them the features, and then you go to trials and credits. And then this is where, again, depending on the size of the customer, you could give, bigger customers more credits, smaller customers less credits, but you determine what credits are there. And then the rebilling, once they are beyond those credits, if they're using the system for any of these capabilities, you are marking them up and reselling them. And so you're getting paid more the entire time anyway. So that's my favorite way to do this, is just to say, hey, look, you get all the features and capabilities that you need. And when you're smaller and using them less, you're going to be paying me less. When you're bigger and using them more, you're going to be paying me more. And if you find that your customer's bill is going like this, and they would be better off if they were at one of your higher plans, because it would just give them consistency because they get more credits at that higher plan, then you can suggest to them, hey, right now you're spending this, you're spending that, you're spending this, you're spending that. Why don't we just move you up to our $497 plan? Then you're just paying $497 a month. You're getting a lot more credits. Your bills are going to even out. It's awesome that you're growing. This would be a win for you. You'll save a little bit of money. So that's the approach that I recommend that you take. Usage-based pricing models have been really, really successful in the small business space over the last couple of years. What are your thoughts on UpHex? I'm considering using this as my main offer, and it seems like a great way to scale. Yeah, Ryan, I'm a big fan of UpHex. I think it's awesome. Sam has done an amazing job with it. And, their focus on just being hyper efficient in how to manage ads for lots of different customers at the same time is awesome. I think it's a great platform. Big fan. Worth reaching out to businesses in Sweden where SMS cost is 7.7 times higher than the US, or should I go with the US market from the get-go? Concerns is that they might have less confidence as someone from overseas. Yeah, John, are you in the United States? If you're in the United States, I would just sell in the United States. I don't think there's any reason that you need to sell outside of the United States, unless you are just like deeply committed to that new market. Like if I was, let's say I think Spain is a great market, right? So if I was going to go, okay, you're in Sweden, then I would sell in Sweden. I mean, your SMS costs are high, but I'm curious why the focus on SMS. I think the only reason why, in my experience, the only reason why there's so much focus on SMS is just because HighLevel started as an SMS platform, and a lot of people that talk about HighLevel still talk about SMS. But think of all of the other capabilities that are in the platform now beyond just SMS. Like, that's just a reality of the market there. But every customer and every one of your competitors is dealing with that same reality. So I wouldn't let that limit me at all. I mean, they have to pay what they have to pay for SMS. So they will probably use SMS much less. And that's why you have the WhatsApp connection, and you have email, and you have, these other capabilities of the platform. So I wouldn't let that limit you at all in Sweden. So I love Sweden. Great spot. Yeah, I mean, again, that's just the reality of the market there. They have to pay what they have to pay for SMS, but help them do things that are not SMS. In your model, do you run design, build, schedule, manage Facebook and social media ads for your clients? Corey, in my model today for their San Diego that I'm running, my media business, yes, I do. But I want to be very clear here for my clients. So the ads are for my customers. They're on their behalf, but they are run as their San Diego ad campaigns in their San Diego's ad manager. So I am not doing campaign management for our customers, like where we are setting up and running campaigns using their brand, their Facebook ad account, stuff like that. I do not do that at all. If I did, I would be using unpacks that we talked about earlier. But no, I do not do that. I run their San Diego campaign that is in some way promoting the business that has hired me, right? So as an example, there's a sushi restaurant downtown we just did some campaigns for, where we wrote an article on their San Diego talking about what a great sushi restaurant it is, why it's a hidden gem in San Diego. Again, wrote up this nice article, and then we run ads promoting that article to make sure it gets as much visibility as possible. But that's our brand running those campaigns. So hopefully that makes sense, the difference there, because it's a super important difference. Any other questions, let me know. Fire them into the comments, and I will do my best to address them. Otherwise, we'll start wrapping up here pretty quickly if I've tapped you out. Will you be at SaaSpreneur Live in Dubai, February 24th to 25th? No, I will not. I didn't even know that was happening, but it sounds fun. Is that that's HighLevel's official event, right? I think Kelsey told me about that. No. And if I had known about it earlier, I probably would have gone, because I'm super interested in going to Dubai. But no, I will not be. I am going to be in Paris visiting my daughter for a good chunk of February. And so I will not be tacking on a Dubai trip, although it sounds awesome. I wish I were going. Take good notes for us, Alan. Are you going to go, Alan? If you are, congrats. That's awesome. I love it. And if you are, like I said, take good notes for us. Any other questions? Let me know. Look out for, I'll go ahead and spill the beans in late February. Oh, Alan, you live there. Oh, awesome. Good for you. Late February, I believe it is. I have Mr. Sean Clark, CEO of HighLevel, booked on the calendar to do a live call with him. Just going to do what we always do, which is I'm just going to get him on the call. I'm going to ask him a bunch of my questions that I have. And I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to ask questions that you have, so we can get the real inside scoop from the man, the myth, the legend. And I will, of course, let you know exactly the time and date of that. And hopefully you can join us. It is always worth the time to hear from him and hear his insights. He's obviously got more visibility on the state of this industry than anybody at this point. And so it's always a fun conversation. So like I said, keep your eyes out for that. I'll let you know the date and time. Otherwise, I don't see any new questions coming in. So I think we will sign off. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Thank you, as always, for joining me here, being a part of the community, being a customer. If you're a customer, just giving me your attention here. I always appreciate it. And I hope that it was a valuable call for you today. We will have office hours this next week on Wednesday, because I'm leaving on Thursday to go visit my daughter in Paris. So Wednesday will be our next office hours call. I will not be doing an office hours while I'm in Paris. I just want to be there and enjoy time with her, and not be messing around with schedules and time differences and all that good stuff. So that is the plan for now. And we will resume with office hours calls when I get back. And then in the meantime, in our community, you can join us there and ask any questions there. And we've got our team in there. We've got me in there, and we'll make sure that we get back to your questions there. So anyway, thank you so much. As always, I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Awesome, Violet. I appreciate that. Thank you. Have a great weekend, and we will see you hopefully here next week. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.